Okay, so I want to share my next step with you, which I call idea stacking. This basically involves firstly defining the key of your track by identifying the key of your kick sequence and then layering up synths, vocals and 303 sounds in the same key. If you think of track making in terms of cooking a meal, then it's the equivalent of laying out all your ingredients to make a certain type of dish. In this case, a hard techno track designed to get people cutting shapes on the dance floor. So as you can see here, I've introduced a lot of different tracks and samples, playing with different sequences and ideas that fit into this genre of music. Just before we dive into that, a quick update on the drums and percussion. On my drum bus, I've added Logic's compressor set to VCA Classic to beef up the dynamics of this sequence. So if I do a before and after there, without the compressor, and with the compressor, just gives it a bit of beef to the actual kick of the drum there. As you can hear, it's quite a subtle change there, and it's just brought the drums a bit further forward in the mix, as they are the main character of the movie, so to speak. I'm constantly cross-referencing back and forth to my reference track to ensure my track matches the dynamics of that track. I'm not too worried about the overall track volume at this stage, because I know if I get my mix right, the mastering process will take care of the volume. Talking of mixing, if I open up the automation window, you can see that most of my tracks are sitting at around minus 15.1 dB. This is to ensure all the elements aren't too loud and do not clash with each other and distort when I finally render my project. Minus 15.1 is not a golden rule. You just need to listen as you make the track and adjust the levels up and down to bring elements further forward or back in the mix. So the next thing I did was to introduce hi-hat percussion sequences, which are all WAV loops I downloaded from Splice. As you can see, there are like 144, 142 beats per minute, and I time stretch those to get them to fit in the bar and fit in time with the track. So you do this by pressing Alt on the keyboard and stretching it forwards or backwards by clicking on the bottom right hand corner using the time stretch tool, which is this symbol here. So I click on that one, press Alt, I can drag it forwards or backwards there. This isn't the ideal way to time stretch, as you lose a bit of quality. I did it as it's quick and easy. The best time stretching software I've used is actually a looper called Audio Mulch, which has lossless retiming, or there's Serato's Sample, which I haven't used but is the one to go to. To my main percussion loop, I also added a compressor to bring it forward in the mix and in line with my reference track. So as you can see there, I've just added a compressor to beef that up a bit and bring it forward in the mix. And together, they sound like that. Okay, so let's have a listen to the synth lines I came up with, which are these here. The first one is an arpeggiated ARP sequence, which I thought would work well as a build-up sequence. The second one is a beastly sounding synth line, which uses a download preset from Splice. The third is a copy of the same MIDI using a different 303 style synth. And the fourth is a metallic sounding synth, which I thought might be useful on the intro sequence. So I'd rather use presets than design a sound from scratch, because there are so many available and you can simply tweak the settings on your synth to make them unique. For example, let's have a go with this sound. If I just open up Serum, which is my choice of synth, obviously you can use any type of synth. I can play with oscillator A and B and the filter. To actually change the sound dramatically. So all the time I'm working on synth sounds, I'm thinking about what sounds fit in this genre of music. I'm not only checking the reference track, but other hard techno tracks that are popular. But I will be using the reference track in an arrangement stage of the process, which I'll demonstrate soon. So that's my main ingredients for this dish. So now I'm going to add my 303 acid sequence in the next tutorial.